right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all. I don't know what the hell we just watched. You know what I mean? In all honesty, I'm just gonna say this straight out the gate. I'm not gonna be long. Worst game that we've played all season. One of the worst games that we've played since Coach Heupel's been here. Yeah, we had some people missing. Doesn't matter because that's one of the worst teams that we've played all freaking season long. One of the worst teams. Not very good. There's so many things that I could go down, boom, 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 boom. But the first thing that comes to my mind is there's absolutely no reason on God's green earth to be playing 10 yards off of their wide receivers ever. Like there's never any situation that I could even fathom where you should be doing that. Okay, if you have people who have to play 10 yards off of the line of scrimmage versus their wide receivers, I got about 100 wide receivers in the state of Georgia that they can't cover. They can't play on this level. And I'm not here to do that, to pick on individual people, so I won't even say names. But what I will say is it wasn't just the defense, it was the offense too. It wasn't just the players, it was the coaches. It was the whole thing was horrible. It was an embarrassment. It was pathetic. I don't know where our record is, and I don't care. It's tough to get me, Shawnee Knox, to be excited about a football season ending. Very hard to do. Very hard to do. I'm excited that it's over with. I'm excited that we're turning the page. Like gigantic changes have to be made in the offseason. Gigantic. There's a lot of folks that I think that could come back, but they don't need to come back. And if Coach Heupel wants to stay here through 2020, all the way up to 2027, he's going to have to make those changes. And I'm talking about on his staff, possibly. I'm talking about from the player. Again, everything. That was embarrassing. That was pathetic. That was inexcusable. So much more talented than the team that we played out there today. They suck. They're not a good football team. There's no reason that we lose like that. And let me just go through my notes real quick, Sean, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you. Let me just go through it real quick, y'all, because I don't really have the words to describe how pissed off I am right now. So as far as my notes, just kind of like I had to just do the real quick. Do this. Number one. Play your best players. And, of course, these are notes that I'm saying that it's something that we can work on. Play your best players. So, actually, number one is, and this is going to sound crazy to y'all, but number one really should be number two, and number two should be number one. But I had to say number one first. But number one is play your best players. Now, number two is the players have to be in shape so that you can play them. So, maybe that now makes sense to y'all. Players have got to be in better shape. I don't want you tapping out. You need to be able to go play a 60-minute ball game if you have to every single snap. And if you can't do that, then that's not just on you. It's also on the strength team, and I think that there's going to be some changes there. All right, because we're also not strong enough, right? There's a whole lot of stuff, but yeah, and I'm talking about offense, defense, special teams. And I'm going to get to some positives because I'm just going to get to them now because ain't a whole lot of them. Listen, Tyler Redmond is a daggum dog. He better get paid because the separation between him and the rest of the secondary, it's like you can't even quantify how big of a separation that is. It's like he's on a totally different planet playing football versus everybody else. But also thank Sean that Trey Poteet, as a true freshman, in this moment, he did some really nice things. Had some struggles early on. I'm sure that they were cheating. How many holding calls did we get today? Like I'm saying, how many times did they called for our players getting held? Even on replays when the camera's right there, the referee's right there, and it's obvious that we're getting mugged. I don't think that we had any. But moving on, who else played well? Edwin Spillman looked really good. I think both of the Jadens showed up a whole lot. Marion Dye. There was a lot of players on defense that were youthful that played very well. Now, talking about the offense, well, I think that Mike Matthews really answered the daggum bell tonight, making some tough catches, getting yards after the catch. I think that our young tight ends did some nice things. The offensive line was just atrocious. And I think that most of that came from the center, Sam Pendleton. Again, I hate to call people out individually. Really, really bad.
I mean, sometimes you just got to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
to kind of piggyback off of, to kind of piggyback off what you've been saying, Bull, this game really kind of just reminded me, and it kind of capped off what the season has been for us, unfortunately. Time and time after again, we just don't seal the deal. I was looking at that. I was looking at Joey Aguilar kind of held the ball a little too long sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what's the delay. No, I think I was seeing something about where I was reading where even Illinois' head coach was saying like our offense is just a little too predictable.
Yep.
And again, like it just, where the we need like some better schemes or something. Obviously you played the sport of football, you could kind of articulate what that means a little bit better than I can. I'm a fan of Tennessee Volunteers, have been since I was alive, honestly. But this game just kind of just showed me what this season has been for us. The changes got to be made, or Hypo may even he may be the change that we may need if he doesn't make changes to the staff.
Yeah. So let me just kind of finish up because some of the things that you just touched on I also have inside of my notes. So well, we went to number two. So number three for me was the offensive line played horrible. I don't know if I even said that, but I did. I talked about the center. I mean, getting beat off for the freaking snap is inexcusable. There isn't really a scheme necessarily. You could give him a whole bunch of help, but I mean, you need to be able to hold up off of the snap. Snap the football, you got to hold up for at least a split second. There was a screen that Tennessee called, I don't know, like in the third quarter or something, where like the offensive line is not even, you cannot really run a screen where you don't hold up the defensive line even for a tick. You've got to slow them down in some sort of way. You can't just let them come straight through. That's never going to work. And then, defensive tackles, they got bullied. Some of the linebackers look too slow, but I think that Spillman and both of the Jadens look good. I already talked about that. Kicker, I think that if we didn't know it before, because some people went back and forth with me on this, Sean, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't mean that I'm always right or none of that. It's fine. I entertain that sort of back and forth. That's what this is all about. But I think that we do need to upgrade there. And look, this is a game. And some people might say, hey, the kicker lost this game. I don't think so. It's not like the Georgia game. If it's a walk-off situation and then you can go make the kick and then you miss it, and then you lost. But in this one, yeah, if you would have made the kick, then obviously Tennessee, Illinois would have had to score a touchdown at the end. But whenever you do it that way, there's a lot of different things that you could go down the list. Boom, boom, boom. But moving on, number 6 for me, like you just talked about, Sean, the play calls are too predictable, right? On both sides, on offense and on defense. It's like they knew every time that we're blitzing, and it feels like they've known that all season long. It's telegraphed for some reason. It's a different defensive coordinator now, even if for this game, he's had about a month to get ready for. You can make some subtle tweaks, big enough that it shouldn't look the exact same way. And I'm not too much blaming Ainge. What I am saying, though, is that this is what we've been saying, y'all. It was not so much of Tim Banks. It's been a talent problem. We've got people that can't play, and they're going to have to go. I'm sorry, but they're just going to have to go. So, but yeah, like with the offense, like the rhythm of the play calling is just, it's unbelievable how like elementary, basic everything is. No trick plays, no onside kicks, none of that. So, and I mean, that's not even so much what I'm talking about, but that's part of it. And then at number 7, I talked about it, the safeties really played poorly. All of them did. I think Sidney Walter might have came in. He probably did some good, but the rest of them just didn't play very well. They just didn't. We have no depth. You know what I'm saying? Especially on defense. So those are my notes. You know what I'm saying? Because just like going through and I'm extremely, extremely frustrated. But you can kind of finish up with your thoughts, and I'm actually going to take us over to the stats for this game so that we can kind of talk about how things went over the course of it and all that good stuff, cuz.
Yeah, I'm just again, this kind of, this has been the season. It's been painful to watch. Changes have to be made. And I understand that we're down a few guys due to the NFL draft and transfer portal. I was really excited to see some of these guys step up, and the young guys who was next in line. Then just not too impressed. We have it's a lot of work that needs to be done in the off season.
Yeah.
As a fan, this is very painful to watch when you go to a Music City Bowl game and you go down there and you have this type of performance. It's just very disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
I was actually at that 2010 game, the North Carolina game, and that was very disappointing.
Yeah.
This game kind of reminded me of that. It's just been, Music City Bowl game for some reason. That's something that it just seems like we can't win that one either. We lost to Purdue, we lost to Carolina, and now today we're losing to Illinois.
Yeah, it absolutely sucks. But let me get to the super chat from my dog Tay saying, "Go Big Orange." Appreciate you, Tay. Shouts out to all the members. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get to all of y'all's chats and everything. So members, super chats, y'all will be going first. But Tay, he's been rocking with us for the longest. Let me go ahead and play this clip, big dog. Appreciate that, bro. So Tay also follows up and he's saying that we were down 14-24, converted the fourth down. The commentator said it was only a 34-yard field goal, suggesting that we should have taken the field goal. Sir, do you know? Yeah, that look. And also, I'm listen, let me and hold on, cuz, because this is something that I think is of the utmost importance to all Tennessee fans. One of the commentators, I had to write his name down. His name is Tom Hart. When we had players that were injured, when Tennessee was having some bad luck in some situations, he's laughing his ass off. I'm personally going to write into ESPN about him. And I'm not saying that you have to do it or not, but you can do it. I don't think that he's taking this seriously enough. Where when people are injured, you shouldn't be up there laughing and giggling and all of that. He obviously doesn't like Tennessee. That's part of it. But also, I don't like people who you're in front of millions of freaking people and you're laughing whenever people are injured, like it's some sort of a joke. It's not. So yeah, I mean, look, anybody can get it tonight, bro. Like I'm going after everybody because like we ain't playing these types of games. All right, so that's right here from Blake, also a member saying that this is unacceptable at Tennessee. Robert Nealon is turning in his casket. Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. And we are going to get to some more of these. Go ahead, cuz.
I was just saying, yeah, Robert Nealon
Mm-hmm.
probably doesn't like this performance, I would assume.
Oh, nah. I mean, his defenses did not look like this. So Brian Lemons is saying that I'm so tired of hearing 4-star this, 5-star that. I'm not saying this about you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, bro, listen, and thank you for prefacing it that way. But I don't ever take it personal, dog. But yeah, I think that you are exactly right. And didn't we talk about this in one of the previous streams, bro? That it really doesn't matter what the star ratings are. Like that's a fun thing. That's something that's like a money grab. It's something to get people to go on these sites and to spend their money. That's honestly really all that is. I think that like with the 5 stars, like I've said previously, Sean, it's hard to miss on those guys, but the rest of it, yeah, it's like, I mean, sometimes it's going to be right, sometimes it's going to be wrong, but yeah, I mean, that's really all that is. You know what I mean? Once they get up on campus, what are they doing? How are we coaching them up? Boom, boom, boom. It's like that sort of thing. But let me try to get to some more of these. So this one right here is from Chad Morris. Chad is laughing. He's saying, "What did y'all expect? Hyper sucks. Defense really sucks. O-line. Oh, whoa, boy." And Max Gilbert is the world's most pathetic kicker of all time. Hey, man, look, dog, tell them how you really feel, bro. That is hilarious. So let me get to some more of these. So,
man,
huh?
I would like to see us get a kicker in the portal or something.
I think that that's pretty necessary, bro. I do, personally. So Chad's also saying the Illinois head coach literally said Tennessee offense is too predictable. Well, guess what?
Awesome.
He was right, wasn't he? Hey, I don't get mad at people for speaking facts. You know what I mean? All right, so Chad is saying that guys just looked unmotivated along with defense. So along with defensive help, we have to get a kicker in the portal. Max just isn't it? Yeah, and so because I would push back. So I don't know that the players didn't look motivated. I just don't think that some of those guys are. And look, I hate to even say it this way, but I'm just gonna keep it real, y'all. I just think that some of those guys might not be physically capable of getting to where they want to get to at the time frame that they need to. I don't think that they're physically capable enough of being able to get through blocks and so on and so forth, or to be able to make the blocks and stay on their feet and all of that. Like I think that in some weird ways, you got to give credit to the staff for what it feels and looks like they did with roster of I would say like mostly more like upperclassmen because they just don't really look that great. And again, I don't want to single out too many names and none of that because I don't want to pick on these kids, but I do want for people to understand that whenever we say the things that we say, because we'll look at some other things with the transfer portal, there's a reason that we're saying it. I think that that's the whole point behind it. Because let me go on ahead and jump into. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I know that people probably don't want to look at this, but this is something that we have to look at. I want to take a look at these stats for this game. So we'll start off with these team stats. Obviously, Tennessee lost by 2 points, and third downs. Looks like actually Tennessee did a better job of converting on third downs right here. I don't know. I could be off on. Yeah, that's so we're at 50%. There, we're less than 50%. Fourth down, we did a good job there. Total yards, they had almost close to twice as much as us. Passing wise, and we talked about this. We said we'd talk about a post game. Will they torch us? They threw for 196 yards. I said that they'll throw for like 250. I was like, I don't, 250 is what I thought that they would do. They did worse than that. But we did horrible passing the football. And a whole lot of that is because we couldn't. Like we couldn't block. You also talked about with Joey holding on to the football too long. Listen, I really like Joey. I think that he's a good kid. But I mean, look, I'm fine with moving forward with George McIntyre. And the reason that I say it is because he is going to process more. Now the offense calls for you to be able to do that. So you need somebody who is not going to lock in pre-snap. We also talked about that in the pregame show where, he wasn't really throwing the ball to Ra. I think we might have talked about that too. Because it's like, well, I'm used to these guys. I'm not going to throw it to you. And there was a time when the commentators even singled that out. They said, well, he had number 5 wide open. I know that he's a freshman and whoop-de-whoop. But it's just like things like that I can't see that happening moving forward. I'm not going to be okay with that moving forward. So with all the rest of this, right, like y'all can see, but rushing wise, that's where they really got us at, averaging about 6 yards per carry, 221 yards. We just couldn't stop it, right? Penalty wise, I don't know what 4 penalties. I think those might have all been false starts, but a whole lot of holding calls that just weren't, or a whole lot of holds that weren't called. They called everything on us. It felt like, we turned the football over on a sack. That was what's his name? That was Lance Hurd. I don't know what he was doing. He slipped on Shem Umarah's foot for some reason, just gave up a very easy sack, but you still got to hold on to the football. So that's how all the team stuff looks. Cause what do you think just in like looking at this?
It's just, I'm ready to turn the page on this season. At the start of the season, I was kind of expecting this type of season, but just didn't think it was going to look like this. You're coming in this game thinking like, hey, let's at least give us something to look forward to for the next year in the off season. And we just didn't. It's just, same Tennessee, man. I'm just ready to kind of turn the page. On the bright side, look at Bishop's numbers there. We got a dog in him.
Yeah, but also look at Star Thomas, and this is something else, cuz that I've been talking about on this channel. And this is not a shot at Bishop, but it goes back to my point that I made earlier. Play your best freaking players. There's been this thought and this narrative over the course of the season, like Star Thomas just wasn't good enough. But obviously we saw, he was very dominant. And we would take him off the field. I know that he got tired, which goes back to my notes. But bro, come on, dog. Like, play your best freaking players. I don't care if they're from Tennessee. I don't care if they're from Knoxville. I don't care if they're a red shirt, 6-year, 50th year senior. I don't care. And again, it's not about Bishop being bad. Bishop is also good. But there's no reason that it's 19 carries for Bishop and only 9 for Star Thomas. Whenever the defense is dropping and they're playing like a shell coverage, you got to be able to run on that consistently. And you got to be able to mix up the running backs more so that you can just keep on running it. Don't stop what's working until they make you stop it. And it's like, it's those things that are like football 101. As soon as you learn about football, you learn, hey, these are the things that you do. These are the principles. Make them stop it. Well, why the hell are we in the 5th season, going on to the 6th season now, with this staff, and we're still not doing that? We're trying to go get video game numbers and, oh, this guy's close to the reaching this milestone. And bro, don't nobody care about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, go win. You need to do whatever it takes to win, period. Like, full stop. But yeah, sorry, cuz.
Nah, bull, you're going good. I hear the passion. And I think, you do speak for every Tennessee fan with that passion. So I definitely appreciate that about you. But again, we got the talent and we have these players that need to play. Put them out there. Let's see what they can do. Let's see them mix it up. This is a bowl game, for God's sake. Switch the play calling up. Throw some trick plays in there. Be creative. Let's try to go out and win this thing. I just didn't see any yet today.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's just go through what all Tennessee did. So, right, well, we already talked about the passing numbers. 14, man, we only threw we only threw the football 18 times. And is this right? We actually threw it 37 times, which is insane. It's actually that's actually positive. But 121 yards passing, 157 yards rushing, 4.2 yards per carry, 3 rushing touchdowns. I actually think that Joey did some nice things. You know, he ran the football, ran through contact, made some really big plays. You know, proud of what he did for the most part. You know, I don't like it. I hate the nitpick, but I don't like the fumble. It turns to a pick six. And I've talked about this too, because like some people are just unlucky, and that's just what it is. Like some people just have like a poor fortune. You know, for like lack of a better term, but you can't have those types of people on your team if you want to win. And that might sound mean or whatever, but man, look, there's no asterisk next to the 8-5 column that says, "Oh, well, they were really nice though." Don't nobody care about that, bro. Like you got to go get people who are winners. I don't care about nothing else. They need to be winners. All right, so that's how all that looks. Let's scroll down, talk about the defense. So Jeremiah T. Lander, he had a whole bunch of tackles. In my opinion, he was too slow getting to a whole lot of stuff. Edwin Spillman, I think that he played very well. William Wright, you know, I mean, look, I told y'all, man, I don't love him playing it outside corner. But you know, he was okay. You know, I think that Jaden did some good things, missed a couple things. The pass rushers really wasn't even there. How many sacks did we get? How many sacks? So we got Jaden. I think that the only sacks that we got was Jaden and David Hobbs. I think that's the only one that we got. Yep. So those two combined for our only single solitary one. And they should both be back next season. So maybe that makes you feel good. Maybe it makes you feel bad. I don't know. But then, you know, you look at what these scrubs did today. 196 threw the football. They had the audacity to throw the football 34 times and we only sacked them once. And they had their best offensive lineman out. Embarrassing, right? Totally embarrassing. So I can understand why we're going out and targeting defensive ends. Makes perfect sense now. We're not getting home at a high enough clip. Rushing wise, we already talked about it. You know, these guys went off. They went off. Number 5, this the little kid I was talking about. 8.1 yards per carry. Couldn't tackle him. This little number 21, he was pissing me off, doing a whole bunch of talking, a whole bunch of crying. We got a couple of good shots on him, but it wasn't good enough. Like, if somebody wants to cry and all that, bro, like, you got to clean his clock. Totally. But as far as how many sacks did they get, I can't wait to look at the pressure rate numbers. I know they were astronomical. But sacks, man, they got 4 on us, and I think that just pretty much speaks volumes, cuz. You know what I mean? I think that just pretty much speaks volumes about what we did and what we didn't do in this game tonight. Just could not be any more just like embarrassed about the way that we played. So let me try to get to and listen, y'all. There's a lot of chats coming in. So I am gonna, cause I'm gonna have to start like tapping back into the chat because I'm missing some. Once there's so many, I can't go further up. But I do see that there's a super chat right here, and this one is from Omar. Omar saying that Max Gilbert is second to last in SEC in missed field goals, less than 50 yards. He needs to go. That Georgia kick broke him, and nothing, and there's nothing that'll fix him, I think is what he's saying there. So listen, number one, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for that. And I am there with you, cuz like what would you say about that? I'm not sure if you were able to see that, because I know that you're working and moving around and all of that. You know, you're doing your best to watch and chime in with us. And also, man, thank you again for joining us tonight. But what do you think about the kicker and some of the missed field goals that he's had over the course of the year? And if you saw the one from tonight, what do you think there?
I mean, this guy has hurt us time and time after again. And, you know, and I know that after that Georgia game, he definitely felt bad. I did see that he had tweeted something saying that he apologized to the fan base and he wanted to do better. But how you do better is to show me in this game by getting it done for us. And again, we just missed the mark there. So, hey, you know, I appreciate him being involved. I appreciate anybody that wears that orange and white for us and goes out there and attempts to give their best. But hey, you know, it might be time to move on. This is a program that has high expectations ever since I can remember, since, you know, the 90s. And got to get somebody in there that wants to win and that wants to see this thing through. And you know, not to, you know, I know we're talking about the kicker, but again, I'm looking at that coaching staff too. Changes just have to be made there, Bull.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And so, cuz, listen, I'm sorry I had to pull this up, but the chats are coming in so much that I had to pull this up because it's a super chat so that I didn't lose it. But this one is from UT Punkin saying that going forward, every team is going to play too high defense and shut us down. So I think that's an excellent point, and we're going to come right back to it in just a second. So coming back to your thought, bro, about teams running that too high look. The funny thing is, last season teams ran a whole lot of shells, so like a too high look, or even like a 3 deep safety look, or like a 4 deep look. They took away all of our vertical stuff and they forced us to maintain drives all the way down the field, and that's what killed us. So the entire offseason, we talked about it. We talked about over the offseason, we felt like some changes were coming, and Coach Halsey's talked about it. Coach Heupel's talked about it, that they had to make some tweaks to the offensive system and not so much just veer and shoot where everything is so vertical. They had to make the changes, and it worked for the first half of the season. The problem is midway through the season, and this is something else that we talked about, is that what's going to happen once teams start to sit on it? Because once they start to sit on it, we've got to have counters. Now, what the offensive staff is not good at is creating counters. They'll come out with a really good game plan, and that's because, like, that's when I knew that we was in trouble. When we couldn't really get going, I thought that we'd score about 20 or more points in the first half. But since we didn't and there was no real separation, I was like, man, we are in trouble unless all of a sudden they learn how to make some halftime changes and all of that. But that's what they really need to work on. There's a lot of problems with the offense, and you have to be able to sustain drives. The running game, it can't be so gimmicky. We got to get away from all the gimmicks, and I've talked about it, spreading the field out, running tempo. Those are all gimmicky things. You've got to be able to come up to the line of scrimmage, see what the defense is running, and then be able to change the plays. The problem with that is it takes longer for guys to figure it out. But once they figure it out, it's almost unstoppable. We've got the talent now that I think that we have to start doing that. But let me try to get to some more of these because they are coming in so fast. I know that I'm missing so many, and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm doing the best that I can. But this one from Luke, do I really think Star over Bishop? I mean, listen, for me personally, just me personally, I think that Star Thomas for this season was a better all-around running back than Bishop was. I do. And I didn't think that coming into the season. But he showed it to me pretty early on. Like versus Syracuse, the way that I'm seeing him running, his patience with that outside zone, and also making the catch in the end zone. I was like, oh, wait, this is a dude who can do it all. And he's also blocking well. Now, I'm not trying to take a shot at Bishop because Bishop does a lot of very good things, and he's only going to get better. But I'm just saying, like, for this year, for this game, and really in any situation, man, feed the hot hand. If somebody's hot, yeah, they got to come off, but get them right back in there. Because if they're averaging 8.7 yards per carry, don't take, like, you're being stupid by taking them out. That's just dumb. Because what's your thoughts on that?
I was really rooting for Star Thomas, but in my opinion, Bishop kind of carried us this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that Peyton Lewis kind of hurt us leaving too. I thought the future was really bright for him. What is the situation with him? Is he transferring or?
Who was that? Peyton Lewis?
Yeah, Peyton Lewis.
Yeah. Peyton Lewis is leaving.
We just can't keep guys, and that was the kind of like the narrative coming into this season is guys transferring out. What's it going to take to keep guys that are serious about the program, guys that want to win, and guys that are well deserving of the money paying to stay here? Because at this point, college football is that.
Yeah,
it is. You got to pay some guys that want to be here.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say again, the coaching staff, that needs to be analyzed there too.
Yeah, and you know what? That's something that we're gonna get to. And sorry that I had to pull this back up, but I'm trying to hold on to the chats from the members and all of that while I can because they keep on scrolling up. But I think that was very, very well said. And the only way I think that the best way that you keep players is by playing them. You have to play them, and I think that we've done too much like favoritism and all of that, and too much of this guy's a Tennessee kid or whatever. Like, look, you can play politics, but what you better be trying to play is how can I keep my damn job? Because the only thing that cures everything, well, it's a couple things, cause money and also winning. Like as a coach, you've got to be able to win. And if you win, all the noise it goes down a whole lot of decibels. The more that you win, the less noise that you got to deal with. But let me get to this right here from Chad saying, seriously, how many games this season did we lose due to poor coaching? I'd say 5 for sure. So you're saying all the games? Yeah, I would. I mean, the only game cause would be like the Alabama game that I look at and I say, well, there were some things like you talked about earlier where it was some bad play calls for sure that put us in a bad situation. But that's not to say that we would have won it. But I would say for sure 4 games Tennessee lost 100% due to coaching.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, so now I was just gonna get on to this next chat. So this one is from one big Vols fan, also a member. Thank you to all the members. Y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe. We didn't talk about that earlier, but I never saw a single misdirection the entire year. Yeah, so you know what? We actually did run some. We don't do it very often though. It's not a huge part of our system, but we actually did run some. But cuz, go ahead.
I
You about to
mean,
say something?
no, I wasn't gonna really say anything, but just seeing these chats, I really empathize with this fan base.
Mhm.
I just hope that we get back on track, get back to prominence, and get these little minor miscues.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're minor. You know, you've played the game of football, so I definitely, again, I think you could articulate the point a little bit better than I can.
Mhm.
I'm just getting tired. I'm just getting tired of seeing this type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely thought it was going to be like a 8-4, 9-3 kind of season, but coming off a season where we, you know, went to a playoff and for this to kind of be the outcome of the season, it just kind of speaks volumes about like where college football is, and you know how we need to hit this transfer portal and pay the proper players, and also play the proper players as well.
Yeah, no, I think that you said that very, very well. You know, those are most definitely facts. So this one right here from my dog Matt SS saying absolutely ridiculous that we lost this ball game, unacceptable. And then he follows it up, unacceptable. I feel you, bro. Chad is saying maybe because we got yep, and then we got out coached and lose. Yeah, I think that we'll be able to get things going. I do. I think we'll be able to get it figured out. So Chad saying he thinks that T Lander. Oh no, listen, T Lander. I promise you, Jeremiah T Lander. He's not a dumb kid. So I don't want to say that by any means. He's definitely not dumb. What else are you saying here? He's too damn big to not be letting people out. I'm gonna tell you, he actually made some really, really good plays. And he plays so hard, really, really does. And I think that everyone needs to work on some things in the offseason. I think that he would benefit for sure if he wants to continue to play linebacker at this level with getting with like a speed coach, somebody who can help him with his space play. And if he gets that done, then all of a sudden he could be one of the best linebackers in the whole damn country because he does have that dog in him. He's not scared of nothing. I think that he can help this team. It just might not be at linebacker again unless he gets faster. That's just my 2 cents. But let me keep on going, and then because we're going to get into some of the changes that we need to make because I know that's something that people want to talk about, and we're going to be going deeper into it. I'm just kind of like pulling these up. So Chad is saying he likes what Joey has done this year with the slightly better offensive line. He can control the turnovers. Ooh, man, listen. So again, not trying to pick on people, but we've talked about it before Joey even got here that that's just who he is. There's nothing in football that's ever going to be perfect. He's not going to have a perfect offensive line. At some point, there's going to be pressure. And whenever there is pressure, he has a tendency, and he didn't do it so much this game, but he has a tendency to throw the ball into coverage. So maybe you are right because in this game, he would tuck and he would run. But what we saw a lot of when he was at App State is whenever pressure was coming, he's off his back foot, and instead of trying to extend to even throw away, he's backing up and he's throwing off his back foot into double and triple coverage and stuff. And that's how he threw so many interceptions. Old habits really die hard. It's hard, very difficult to get somebody out of those types of habits, especially whenever they're older players. So if Joey does come back, I'm going to be optimistic that maybe things can work out. But at the same time, I will caution people like I did preseason and like I did even earlier in the season, definitely not trying to like toot my own horn or nothing, but I would caution people to understand that there are certain things that you see whenever you break down film with players that is going to be almost impossible to get them out of. Nothing is impossible. There's no absolutes, cuz nothing's 100% or 0%. But I think that would be a very tall mountain for us to have to climb. Let me get to the super chat real quick, cuz. So this one's from Rick Holt. Thank you so much, Rick, for being a member and giving us a super chat. Appreciate it a whole lot. Saying that I can't help but think that coaches milking the quarterback situation to cause other teams to spend more than they would normally on a quarterback. I think GMAC is the guy. I actually like that, cuz, and I'm going to get your thoughts on the other end of this super chat. All right, so cuz, what are your thoughts with this super chat with what Rick just said about maybe Heupel's doing some like Jedi mind tricks and he's trying to hold on to George McIntyre so that we can go win us a daggum national championship next season?
I get where he's coming from, but I do think that the proper thing this year was to kind of sit GMAC and have him watch the game, learn some things from some veterans, people who have been there. Now he has a better feel for the game from the sideline, so that when he does take over the helm, he's probably a little bit more prepared based on the experience and wisdom that he's received throughout the duration of the season. I understand the sentiment there from Rick, but I think that you play Joey Aguilar all year until otherwise.
Okay, so let me get to this next one right here. Super chat from Matt SS saying that he's tired of being mediocre, sick and tired of it. Hey man, I'm tired of being sick and tired too, big dog. You already know it. At some point, something's got to give. All right, so I see that we got some more things in here. Let me try to get to Evan real quick, because we do have some more things that we would like to touch on. And I know that we're going to be a little bit crunched for time. But this one right here is from Evan. Thank you for being a member, saying now we are serious on a quarterback. I don't think Heupel trusts his job security on GMAC. He'd rather have someone more proven. So this is my whole thing with that. So, cuz, you was about to say something. I want for you to speak on that first.
I was just agreeing. That's pretty much what I was saying.
Okay.
I just don't think that GMAC's time was this season.
I mean, no. Yeah. So no. So I think that what people are talking about is for next year. They're talking about George being the guy next year. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy next year. I mean, that eligibility case kind of fell through with Aguilar, right?
It hasn't all the way fallen through yet, but I mean, shoot, the transfer portal opens up this Friday, so it's just like a few days away. And I don't think that Tennessee is going to be waiting around. Like they got to go try to find somebody. So I would say that if something doesn't happen, which something that I had heard was by the 28th, there should be an answer, but that hasn't happened. So I would say that at this point, it probably pretty much has fallen through.
So then what I would say to that is, again, this is where college football is. What is the point in bringing a guy like GMAC in if we're not even going to give him a chance? Now, I understand that hitting that portal is something that we need to do. Number 12, what's the kid's name? He's leaving too.
Merck.
Merck is leaving.
Yeah.
But we have GMAC. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. Give him a shot. I definitely like what I saw in that spring game. He's throwing a cannon. All you gotta do is get him in that weight room a little bit, put some weight on him, and give him a shot. You play your guys. You play the guys that get recruited. Now, is Faison going to be here next season?
Yeah.
So I mean, we have him coming in too. So it's going to be a tough. I think it's going to be a good quarterback room that we have next year. But yeah, I think that you do give GMAC a look. He's already on the roster. He's sat through a whole season. He has knowledge of the offense and the system. You give him a look.
Yeah. So we're about to touch on the portal, but let me first talk about the defense. Jim Knowles comes in as the DC. It sounds like Anthony Poindexter coming in as the safety coach. I just put /star because potentially he could be coaching stars. It could be somebody else, whatever. I think that he's a good safeties coach. I think that we need an upgrade there. and like from top to bottom, I like has to be better. Maybe Andrew Jackson, who's also from Penn State. Both of these guys were on the same staff with Coach Knowles at Penn State this past season. Andrew Jackson has coached defensive line at a lot of different places for a long time. So he could maybe come in and be the Leo's guy. He might do something else. I have no idea. We don't know if Anthony Poindexter or Andrew Jackson are coming for sure, but all signs are pretty much pointing towards definitely Anthony Poindexter coming in, and Andrew Jackson probably following suit. Rodney Garner is probably going to get his contract and all that type of stuff signed. I'm just going to throw this out there, and because I want to get like a quick thought from you on it. But Rodney Garner being our defensive line coach, seeing what our defensive line has done from like the middle of the season all the way to now, they haven't been very freaking good. And it's not from a lack of talent. There is talent up there. I think that Bryson Easton's been playing banged up. I don't know that for a fact, but it looks like he's dealing with something because he doesn't look like he used to. But that's Rodney Garner's thing, and people just say, well, you know, Rodney Garner, and look, I love Coach Garner. I love all these guys. But what are your thoughts there, if any, on Rodney Garner? And I mean, obviously, he's probably going to be coming back. He's probably going to finish coaching here at Tennessee. But do you think that maybe even he needs to make some tweaks?
Definitely. Just I mean, let's just look at today's game.
Mm-hmm.
Did we even sack the quarterback?
No, yeah, once. So we had one sack. Mm-hmm.
That's not
one
enough.
one on 34 dropbacks with their best offensive lineman out.
So I mean, that's like kind of like what I'm thinking. That's my thought process. Just with me strictly focused on today's game.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough was done there. We appreciate Rodney Gardner's efforts, and you know, I feel like he attempted to give his all for Tennessee, but again, if Heupel continues to be the guy, he needs to stand on business and kind of get some dogs in there that can post these guys up and put, you know, instill some fear in these in the opponent's offenses when it comes to Tennessee defense. I just don't think that people fear us anymore.
Yeah.
And I could be biased because I'm a 90s baby, so I come from Philip Fulmer era.
Yeah, that was a totally different beast, man.
Exactly.
that was a whole different thing when everybody was scared of Tennessee. Everybody, like, even when they was making movies about the 90s.
Right.
Like, you know, like what was that movie called? Like Blindside or something, when there was yeah, you know, like when there was an Ole Miss, and as soon as Fulmer comes, all the SEC coaches, oh well, Fulmer comes, might as well pack it up, go home. That's what we're used to, and we have to say it, because I know there's a lot of people watching that they understand that, but there's also some people who don't. Like, that's what Tennessee football is supposed to be. We're supposed to strike fear in everybody's heart. And we was one of the teams way back in the day that we wasn't afraid to go out west and play UCLA and USC and all them teams. We wasn't scared to play anybody. We wanted all the smoke. We're a long way away from that at this moment, but it doesn't mean that we can't flip it around, because we still have the best fan base on the face of this planet. We still have big time boosters. I think that we have plenty of money to be able to go out to the portal and make some things happen. But I had to preface all of that, but I'm right there with you. And Gardner comes back from those days. They used to call him the bag man. Way back before NIL, he was the NIL king, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, he has a long history of getting it done. I think that he's going to be fun. Some of it is probably with the mindset of these players. Go and get dogs, right? Like, you might have some off the field issues and all that. Well, look, clean that up. That's always been part of football. You got to go get some people that are thrown off if you want to have good football, a good football team from top to bottom. I think that we need more of that. We need more people who are a little bit off, who might come with a little bit of baggage. And I think that would help Rodney Garner out. But either way, let me just try to finish up with this real quick. So Inge, he was the interim today at D.C. I don't know if he's going to be retained as the linebackers coach. Really would love for Coach GT to be able to, you know, stick around. I would also like it for Coach Nez, but I had to start it off right here. Sounds like the strength coach, we talked about it earlier, Kurt Schmidt, there might be some changes there. This team's not in shape enough. They're not big enough. They're not fast enough. They're not daggum strong enough. Okay? So either he makes some tweaks, or we got to go find somebody who can get that done. And I would love to go get the guy, Cochran, Scott Cochran. Think about all the Bama championships, cuz. Think about all the Georgia championships. Guess who their strength coach was? For almost, I think, every single one of them for both of those teams. Scott Cochran. So he's like the freaking GOAT. Let's just go get him. I know he's a head coach. Say, hey, coach, hey, listen, we'll double your salary. Come on in. You don't have to worry about it. Hey, just get these guys right. Okay, we're gonna double your salary, and whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you want, we will take care of it. But let me get to this super chat real quick, and then we're gonna move forward. Actually, we'll go ahead and move this forward real quick. So this one is from Evan. He's saying that GMAC's issue is putting on weight and just uncertainty. Are fans going to be patient with the redshirt freshmen? What happens if we go 8-4 or 7-6 next year? So I'm really glad that you said that, because that's a perfect segue for us to take a look at Tennessee's kind of like big board for the portal. And it's a couple of guys that I might be taking off, like Brendan Sorsby, because it sounds like we might have to take him on off, because it feels like he really is trending very heavily towards Texas Tech. But I think that he was the only guy that Tennessee looked at as like a starting caliber quarterback that we would bring in, even with the price tag of at least $4 million plus. Okay, that's a whole lot of money. We still got to go, like, because watching the game, defensive tackle, right? Safety, right? Like, we know that we got to go get players there, like 1,000,000%. The whole secondary, like, you need players, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, if you want to go and get the top guys at any of those positions, it's going to be at least $1 million. So we're talking about, let's just count it out, cuz. So we got probably 2 defensive tackles. That's $2 million. I would say, I'm just going to call it 3 kind of like corners. That's $5 million. And then you need at least 1 sort of a like star, maybe even 2. Let's just call that $7 million. You need probably 2 safeties. Now we're at $9 million. Need a kicker. That's not going to cost $1 million, but it might. So let's just throw $1 million out there. $10 million. Did we? I think we might have missed something, cuz. Did we miss something? We got defensive tackle. Oh, linebacker. Definitely gonna need another $1 million. So $11 million. And of course, we're going on the higher end of the spectrum. But $11 million. Okay, so now you got to spend another $5 on your transferring in quarterback, and that brings you up to about like 16, and that's on top of what you got to pay for the rest of your roster. Let me get to this real quick, cuz dang, I just saw that we had some super chats. I'm sorry, I saw that we had some gifted memberships. Looked like those were coming from chat. Hey chat, I tried to pull you up, but I'm gonna play these super clips for you. Hey, thank you so much, Chet. That's the second time, cuz, that he's done that, I think, within maybe like 2 to 3 streams. Matt also did it. He gifted 5, but y'all, that means so much to us, man. Like, for real. But let's try to get back to the topic. So we're saying about $16 million on top of probably about like a $20 million roster. So, $35+ million on this roster for us to really get right. Now, is that really feasible? I don't know. I know that we can spend about, I think it was 15 million on our like 15.3 million on our football team, and we thought that we'd have about 10 million from like the sponsorships. You probably get like another few million from the boosters and donors with the way that the rules work now. So that is feasible. But the whole point is, maybe we don't want to spend that much on a quarterback because we feel like, well, George is the guy, or he can be if we just give him enough help. But we definitely need the help, because I don't think that Brendan Sorsby, who I look at as the best quarterback prospect right now for Tennessee in this transfer portal, I don't think that he's going to be able to win a national championship without a bunch of help on defense. But that's just me. So, cuz as you've been like looking through this list, hopefully you have been looking at it. Is there anybody that kind of like stands out to you that you would like for Tennessee to maybe target? You can see what they play in that far left column as well.
I mean, I'm looking at names like college names like Ohio State, Penn State. I know what those I know what that culture is like. I know what those environments are like. Well, even giving me Auburn, I feel like we just need to target some dogs, guys that can kind of come in here and retool this defense. I mean, I feel pretty confident that the offense can get us where we need to be. And we were mentioning quarterback. I mean, this potentially reminds me of that Ainge Schaefer system we used to do. We may need a little bit of that coming in with Azon.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually right there with you on that. And actually, I don't know why, but for some reason, This was, oh, wait, okay, there it is. I was about to say that this was not pulling up on the other screen. But so Chad is saying that if we can't get Sorsby, then let's load up with the best portal talent and ride with GMAC next year. There it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was just saying, cuz, but go ahead.
I wouldn't be, I want to see what, I feel like Faison is a winner. Yeah. This guy has not lost if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but they said that he didn't lose a high school game.
I don't know how true that is. I know that he won so he won the state championship I think he's won the state championship for the past couple of years, maybe. But yeah, I mean, like, you want to come from a winning program. Like, for
he's
sure.
A winner. Yeah. He's a winner is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think we may need to look at a 2-quarterback system. Mm-hmm. I think we need to get creative.
Yeah.
And, quit playing it safe. I feel like Heupel is the play it safe kind of guy. It's getting too predictable. We know what to expect with this guy. You can't do that in SEC football. You can't do that in college football, period. Especially on a big stage like a playoff game or a bowl game. You just can't do it. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Let me get to this super chat right here from Dexe. Cuz, can you read that off? Can you tell what that says?
He said, "You still high on Inge?"
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to get his name right off, but yeah. So let me go ahead and play this clip real quick. Thank you so much for that super chat. So as far as Inge, I think, like, as a teacher and as a linebackers coach, the reason that I really like Inge at this point is because I know that players really like him. I was really high on him whenever he first got here. As I watched a little bit more of him, of his linebackers, I was like, well, I'm seeing some of the same things that I'm seeing from our linebackers, and we're going back 4 or 5 years. So I'm not sure. I mean, I would be fine with him coming back. I think that we need to work on fundamentals and, like, little things. I really feel like for the defense, a lot of the problems can be fixed with a better strength coach. I think that we need to be in much better shape. We need to be hungrier and more dogs, and maybe also just going out and getting people that, like I said earlier, cuz, that are just like, throw it off. Like, go get people that are freaking crazy. Like, football, you got to be crazy to play football. And some people hide it well. Like, you got to be able to turn it on and turn it off. But you're not going to go out there and not even think twice about going face to face with somebody at full speed from 20 yards out, and you see their eyes get big, right? And you feel it all coming, and just, like, you just love it, right? Like, you love the feeling of, in a lot of them situations, kind of like blacking out. And I don't think that I have to do it these days, but back in the old school, like, bro, you black out, you get back up, somebody wake you up, whatever, you still out there playing. But yeah, like, you need people like that. And on your defense, everybody pretty much has to be like that. So I think that would help Coach Inge out a lot. And, I mean, look, shouts out to the staff for trying to clean things up, for trying to bring in the right types of people off the field. But you just have to understand that, bro, football is really not, and you can do both. I'm not saying that you can't, but we really, I think, need more people that lean more towards, hey, man, like, you got to reel them back. Like, you got to, you almost need somebody to follow this guy, off the field, because we don't know what he's going to do. Like, that's what we need more of, I think. And maybe I'm off on it, but that's just the way that I see it at this point, man.
Yeah, the Tennessee culture has kind of changed throughout the years. The year that we had that Hendon Hooker kind of team, Hyatt, that team was very phenomenal. Hype to kind of piece together. Let's get back to that. Get back to developing quarterbacks so that we don't even have to hit the portal. Let's get back to developing a culture to where we don't need outside people. Kind of, every time we hit the portal and every time we do things like that, I feel like it's not Tennessee football at that point.
Yeah, I listen, I most definitely feel you on it, but at the same time, I don't think that you have a choice, because everybody's working with the portal now. That's just how football is. And if it was set up like it was back in the day, where kids had no choice, where there was pretty much, like, locked into whatever, they had absolutely no rights, which I can't stand, Cause like, I played in that era, P played in that era. And there was a whole lot of very negatives from the player standpoint that came from all of that. But it's not like that anymore. What we really need to fix college football is a CBA that we can all sign as like the institution, so schools, and then as far as the players. Whenever that happens, now you can enforce contracts. You can enforce things so the players aren't coming and going so much. But yeah, I think that you are right about, and I don't know if it's so much necessarily just about with Coach Hype whenever he was first here, because I do think a lot of that was like lightning in a bottle, where it's a totally new system to this conference. People didn't know what to do. It took 2 years, right? So in 2023, that was the third year. People had figured it out. We saw that the offense went backwards a lot. And it got really stagnant for 23 and 24. Then in 25, starts off, looks really good, but people figured it out. We have no counters, like I talked about earlier. But if you go back to the freaking former days, which I don't know how much of this you can do anymore, but with like Coach Chavis, and I saw him when he was at LSU, they're doing drills, and y'all can go and find this. Y'all can go on YouTube, y'all can go and find this, where he's got his defensive players going through a gauntlet. So it's one defensive player, we'll say, on this side, and he's got to run through 3 or 4 defensive players. He's got to go boom, hit, and then get off, and then go on to the next one. And it's that type of stuff that causes concussions. It causes brain damage. It makes you crazy. But that's football. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a sort of a sport that football is. So I think that we're in this like weird transitional period where we don't know how to coach it up to make the people, to make the kids and all the players still be dogs, but also be safe. I don't think that football can be safe. It's just like you got to get some better helmets and all that for it to be better for your brain. And I'm sorry to go off so far off on this tangent, but I did want to touch on it because I think that what you're saying is right. We need more dog. Like we need a whole lot more of that, but it's tough for these coaches these days to actually be able to implement that because of the rules, because of how the game has changed. And the only thing that you can do to circumvent those rules is just to go and get people that are naturally dogs. They were born dogs. They're already dogs whenever you meet them. And then you bring them on up and you got a team full of dogs. That's what Georgia does. You know what I mean? And I hate to boost them up, but that's what a lot of good football teams do. You know? And I think that's just what you have to do. So Chad is saying that he doesn't trust Typo judging quarterback talent. I don't know. So I definitely get why you would say that because, because whenever you like look at Nico, you say, well, Nico didn't really pan out. But from a talent standpoint, I can see it with Nico. Like I said, in 2024, it wasn't so much Nico as much as it was our system. We kind of, Joey fell into our lap, but I think that we coached him up very well. He didn't have as many interceptions as he did previously this season. Hendon Hooker obviously looked a lot better coming here. Milton did some nice things. But what are your thoughts on that, cuz?
The only quarterback that really kind of stood out to me under the Hypo era is Hendon Hooker. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of upside for Nico. We didn't really get to see, though. It didn't really last long. So I was really rooting for Nico. I really thought that was going to work. But, when the wrong people get in your ear and you get some bad advice, that's the outcome. Unfortunately, no, I don't really feel any kind of way towards Nico because everything happens for a reason. But I just don't think Hooker is the only guy that I see that kind of stamps anything within the Hypo era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? We're gonna find out. We're about to find out. I think that this year really will be in a lot of ways make or break for Coach Heupel. He's gonna have to get it right. He's gonna have to look at everything and everybody, coaches, analysts, trainers, whatever, players for sure, everything. And he can't be playing buddy. Like one of the things that I did want to touch on was with the offensive line. I mean, I know that we're missing Wendell Moore, but my goodness gracious, like to be giving up pressures the way that we're giving them up. I mean, and that's Coach Heupel. I think that's Coach Heupel's best friend, bro. Like, and I have a lot of respect for anybody that's willing to go down with the ship. I got a whole lot of respect for. Hey, I'm not turning my back on this person because this is my family. whether that's for real blood family or whatever. It doesn't matter. I have a ton of respect for it because that's how I am. Because you know, like that's how our whole family is. But my whole point is, as a Tennessee fan, like we just need for a coach to not necessarily always be that way. They have to do what's best for Tennessee. They have to put us first. And you know, Heupel's gonna have to show and prove that he will do that without being forced to necessarily do that. But because do you have any kind of like closing thoughts? Because we are past an hour. I like to try to keep these at about like an hour. Y'all, I know that there's a billion chats that we couldn't get to. I'm sorry, but there's no way that we could have got to all those. And look, we'll be back. I'll definitely be back tomorrow, and maybe we could chop it up more. But cuz what's your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Hey, it's still go Big Orange. It's still, you
Yeah.
know, I'm still evolved till I die. Just want to see the changes get made. I just want to see some drive. I want to see some passion. I want to get back to Tennessee football. This was this to me, this was a transition year. I can't. I mean, again, I can't help but to say I already kind of saw something like this happen for this season. But hey, Music City Bowl game, you're supposed to go out and win that thing. You know what I'm saying? And we just didn't. We didn't get it done. We are. The program took a step back today, especially in front of a Tennessee audience too. It's just very sad. You know, you got home state advantage, and you pull something like this off.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say that this is a hot seat year for Heupel coming into 2025, 2026.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm right there with you, man. It's a prove it year. He's gonna have to prove it. He really, really is. And I think that he can get it done. But man, tomorrow, what I want to talk about with everybody, and we'll probably be going live for that, but I want to talk with everybody about like the moves that we need to make and how serious things need to be. Because I saw some things last night that made me feel like, man, we're not being quite serious enough. But we won't really know for sure until the portal officially opens. But I do want to have that conversation. But y'all, listen, I hope that y'all do have a good night. I know a lot of y'all got to go to work and everything bright and early tomorrow. But thank y'all for rocking with us. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. And also, last thing real quick, if y'all are still here, that means that y'all probably really rock with us. Let me just say this, man. If y'all want to see all 22 film, you can go to patreon.com/SEC all 22 film. You're going to see all of Tennessee's games. This one will be up, I'm sure, shortly. You'll see all of our portal targets, so on and so forth. And it's still at the discounted rate, but this is 100%, as I'm told, going to be the last time that y'all hear from us where we can tell you that it's going to be at that discounted rate. But if you come in at the discounted rate, then you get to hold on to that as long as you stay a member. But make sure to go and check it out. Again, it's patreon.com/SEC all 22 film. All right, y'all. Have a great night, and we'll be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.